All right guys, brand new, the Kifaru Deluxe hip quiver in blackout. So I was fortunate enough to get one of these. I've been playing with it the last few weeks. Prior to that I had one. I love their setup. It's been my go-to for just practicing at the range, maybe a 3D event or a tack event. I just wanted to do a quick quiver dump, show you guys what I pack around when I'm practicing or if I'm at an event like tack. So I'm just gonna dive in and show you. It's handy because it comes with this little fleece-lined release pouch. So in that release pouch, I've got a couple of releases. I've got the True Ball Executive. I got one with a click, one without a click, and they're set. One's a little heavier than the other, one's a little lighter. I shoot those on and off. Sometimes I'll grab one if I'm struggling to get an arrow to go off, so I'll shoot one or the other depending on how I'm feeling that day. Got a finger sling. I always got a finger sling in my hip quiver. Of course, I've got, I don't know, maybe 8 or 10 arrows there. Those are gold tip platinum pierces with some Flex Fletch Pro 2.5 vanes. It's got a drink holder, which is kind of handy. Got an energy drink in case I'm lacking on caffeine, which seems to be the case most often. A couple of pens for recording scores. So I got a red pen, I got a black Sharpie. I always have one of those. I've always got just like an everyday carry knife. Typically if you're going to like tack, those are great for digging arrows out of trees or even at your local range. Maybe you absolutely shank one and you've got to dig something out. In my little pouch here, I've got a bunch of backup Nocks. I've got some extra D-loop. I've got probably 8 or 10 100 grain filled tips. So I always have a little bag there just in case something goes wrong. I need a new nock, I need a new field tip. I've also got a broadhead. So I've got a Sever 1.5 titanium broadhead there. I've got the blades locked in so that I can shoot that thing at the local range just to make sure that my broadheads are flying good. Got some TP. You always got to have some TP, especially if you're at a destination shoot. I've got a couple of Allen wrenches. So I got one there and I got a big one. So if I have an issue with my stabilizer, I can change that out. So I always have a couple of Allen wrenches. The rest of this is kind of filled full of releases. So I've got a Stan Onyx resistance release. I've got a True Ball thumb button. So the button release, I got one of those. Sometimes I like to play around with the resistance release. Sometimes I want to shoot a thumb button. So I've always got those in my field quiver. I've got some extra Allen wrenches for just like little parts and pieces on my bow, whether it's my rest or my sight. I've got a lighter, so if I had to replace a D-loop, I could do that. I've got some D-loop cord, as I already showed you. What else do I have in here? Oh, another release. So I've got a HT Pro from True Ball. This is the brass 4-finger hinge. That's been a staple for me for years and years. I've always got one of those, it seems like. Extra weight for my stabilizer. I usually have a couple of those, maybe 3 or 4 in my hip quiver in case I want to play around with weight, whether it's on my back bar or my front bar. So I've got some of those. And finally, I've got a Leatherman. So Leatherman's got multi-use purposes. You've obviously got a knife, you've got a saw blade, you've got wire cutters, you've got some pliers. Those come in handy, like I said, if you're digging an arrow out of a tree or a fence post or whatever it is you might shoot. So that's kind of quiver dump for me. That's what I carry in my quiver when I'm practicing if I'm going to a 3D like tack. Check these out. These are going to be available March 5th. You can buy these deluxe filled quivers in blackout. So check those out, brand new from Kifaru.